Hello everyone, this is Wolf, and today we are back with more Space Engineers. Today I will be continuing coring out through the silicon deposit. Don't really need silicon because stone will provide me with more than enough. And continue down until I get to the bottom of the silicon deposit. So without any further ado, let's get... yeah, that's a good angle right there. Let's get our drills online. Right-click mining. Let's release the rotor lock with number 6, and let's turn our pistons on. Number 4. Now, the reason why I say I'm not going to be saving any of the silicon is, to be perfectly frank, I don't need it. I cannot think of any situation in which I would need the millions of silicon that would be produced unless I'm building a glass city. But silicon is abundant enough that I could always mine another deposit, and it's not that far below the surface. It's at most 100 meters below the surface. So that right there is so super easy to deal with that it's not even worth it for me to continue doing this. However, I do have some fairly interesting plans. The silicon deposit will provide with an interesting backdrop for my base. And with that, I can build the base inside the silicon and use it as texture and color accents, if that makes any sense. With any hope, the deposit will be thick enough that I will be able to generate and build a pretty substantial base. Today, right now, I'm just going to very carefully and very slowly extend the drill rig, which I'm pretty sure I might be extending it too fast. I'll have to keep a very close eye on that. And then once I'm down through the silicon deposit, I'll set it to auto, and it'll drill itself stone. I'll then begin construction on the base, on the new base, inside. Pardon me, on the new base inside the silicon deposit. Now that is going to be interesting because I am going to need cargo containers, refineries, and power production. Once I get power production up, which is the next thing after this coring, I will be building lots of turbines. I'm hoping to generate at least 1 gigawatt of power with this base. If I can generate 1.5 gigawatts, that will be the ideal, but 1 gigawatt would be acceptable. Unlike with my other base, which I'm going to shoot over here down the tunnel, I'm not going to do a simple mounting of the turbines like this. I have more space to work with, so I think I'll mount the turbines on interior pillars inside the main base until I get deep enough into the shaft here that I can mount them on the sides of the shaft. This is going to be the trick here, is generating that much. Yeah, I'm slightly concerned the pistons are extending too fast. Let's turn them off until this stabilizes a little bit here. This is the real finicky part about the pistons. If I have them set to go too fast, the drills will smash into the stone. Large drill rigs like this are expensive, and you do have to be extremely careful with the settings when you set up a extension system like this. So let's just find a space that I can just sit here and watch the drill rig while it proceeds. Okay, that was definitely interesting. I believe it's time for the gyroscopes now. The wobble was fairly significant when that happened. It looked like the pistons were about ready to slam it into the voxel. Let's get the gyroscopes put in. So these gyroscopes will be set to override, and their job is simply to prevent more wobbles like that. So let's get these built real quick. Oh no, they take 50 metal grids. I did not realize I had so many metal grids. All right. Well, that's a definite boon there. Tubes. They're gonna take computers. Computers there. Structure components. Okay. I need motors. That's the last thing I need. Okay. Let's ignore the background noise there just a little bit. It's fine. Alright. Now, setting a gyroscope to override is very simple. All you do is go into the control panel and override controls. Control panel, override controls. Control panel, override controls. And then you leave the yaw, pitch, and roll to override. All that means is when a movement happens that they are not anticipating or they're not expecting, such as a random bit of clang or a physics movement, they will attempt to resist it. So let's go back into our spectator cam and start the drills up once again. Let's see if that solves our problem. A little bit of wobble because I just added a pretty significant amount of weight to it. And there we go. Everything is working normally, and the wobble is being reduced. Perfect. All right, let's jump ahead until when we get this done. All right, and with that, we have reached the bottom of the silicon deposit. 200 and 240 meters down. We have reached the bottom of the silicon deposit. There's still a little bit left, which will account for a few thousand silicon, which I'm not that worried about. And there's enough extension in the pistons to extend it another couple of meters, which I would like to use to generate some more resources because I really desperately need the extra resources. So let's turn that on. Let's go in here. And early on, I doubled the speed of the advanced rotor because it was just too slow for me. So I'm going to go in here and go back to a slower, much slower speed and get this moving around so it'll shave off that stone. May not seem like a whole lot, but it will make a big difference in the production of resources that I have. So, and then K, let's go into the pistons. And what's the velocity that they're at? I'm going to cut that in half. So once this is shaved, everything's smooth, which it appears to have already done so. I will turn the pistons back on, and then feel somewhat safe in flying up to solve our power issues. By getting this is a very, very long, dark tunnel. By getting the next stage built here in the ceiling. So, okay. You are not happy with me right now. Game. Okay. It is still playable. Alright. Let's go down here and start getting our power system set up. So I need, if I could remember the appropriate thing that I'm going to be putting in here for turbines. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that I think I can actually do something kind of interesting with regular armor blocks in the ceiling. But I also like the interior pillar look. So those are going to get placed. I want to make sure that there's enough clearance, enough clearance for me to get maximum power generation for these. So first we're going to start with coloring. Each of these spots where I put a blue square is going to be where a turbine goes. So that gives it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks of clearance. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a turbine. That'll also be where that gets placed. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, provided with the necessary clearance there. Then we go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a turbine. And we just simply continue that pattern across here. I don't believe I need the red circle and the green lines anymore, so first things first, I think I'll clear those out. Painting is a good way to make sure that you don't make small mistakes. Yes, space engineers just have lots of, okay, let's that just a little bit wider. Lots of ways for you to do cool stuff with it, but it's also really easy to make small, dumb mistakes too. Trust me, I have made more than my fair share at times, so painting just makes everything, at least when you're using it as a control method, flying upside down is so weird, just everything a little bit easier. I'll copy that back, and then we go, are they really that far apart in my base? Back to spectator cam. Just check on this. It's drilling through normally, safely, and I just shot off in a random direction. Add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, they're not that far apart. Space between these is 2, space between these is 3. That's the only real difference. I just messed up that painting there. See? Simple mistakes, easy to make. Fortunately, they're easy to fix too. So I'm going to leave that as it is just to keep them. Actually, no. I'm going to fix that. So The real position where this should be is actually there. So let's put that in. We go over 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that goes there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 would be right here, but that's also going to be part of the pathway, so I don't think I'll put one there just yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna have to paint that. That was stupid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just did it again. Okay. And then we start from this corner and do the same thing. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure those all line up and look right. So let me go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there we go. The turbines get mounted onto those, and we continue the pattern on the other side. So I'll jump ahead to when I have that done. All right, I've got the pattern continued on both sides. Oh, these interior pillars just take a very small, almost trivial amount of resources to weld up. So let's place our turbines. Top of the pillars. Oops. Don't want to be in the hitbox for the turbine. And as I said, I'm expecting this to generate about a gigawatt or more of power. That would be the goal. Yes, I know the other ones are only producing about 100 kilowatts apiece, but I'm thinking if I put enough of these in here and the space is large enough, it will still generate the amounts of power that I need. So with the last couple ones here, I'm going to start welding them up, and I'll jump ahead to when welding up a Editor Wolf here. I apparently did a goof this entire time that you're watching me finish the turbines and fly down the dark tunnel to the drill rig. My microphone was muted while I was recording this. So I'm just going to insert in a little bit of commentary about what I'm doing. I finished the turbines. Each turbine is producing about 170 to 200 kilowatts worth of power. Times 24, that's a substantially larger portion of power than I was anticipating at 4,800 kilowatts or 4.8 megawatts. Nevertheless, I'm actually quite happy. Now I'm working on the next stage, which is going to be prepping the drill rig for moving it down. Next episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a long row of armor blocks with lights because that tunnel is dark and freakishly dangerous at high speed. In order to allow the drill rig to lock onto the main grid so I can shift it down, set up some more pipes, which that's going to be the expensive part because I don't know if I have the resources for that, which could be interesting. And then I'm going to prep everything for transitioning down or drilling down the next 240 meters. This is going to be an interesting project all around. I'm actually quite enjoying it. With approximately 240 meters worth of silicon ore deposit to build in, I'm not going to have an expansive, sprawling base. Instead, I'm going to build a base that each individual section is a different level inside the silicon. So it's going to be stacked, kind of like a skyscraper. Should be interesting. All right, everyone, this has been Wolf. See you next time.